Hello, everyone. Welcome to ResolveCon 2025. I know. Come on, keep it down. Oh, man. All right. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Oh, man, it's great to be here where I usually am today. Guys, I am so excited that you're here. Welcome to the FISNIF ResolveCon. This is so exciting. We have so many great presenters here. We've just gathered some of my favorite, most wise and amazing Resolve teachers just to make your life better when it comes to working with Resolve. And so I'm so excited about that. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to thank our sponsors because they're the people that make this possible. Of course, Blackmagic Design, DV Resolve, Motion VFX, Whip Templates, and Pixel Tools. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Thank you for being amazing and letting us put on this awesome event because we couldn't do it without you. All right? Tyler, thank you, man. That's so cool. That's wonderful. Guys, I want to tell you, I want you to make sure that you know that if you're into courses, if you're looking to learn some Resolve, especially learning some Fusion, we have a 25% off sale happening all the way through ResolveCon. Here, all you have to do is go to groundcontrol.film, use coupon code RC25GC, and yeah, it's 25% off our courses at Ground Control. Isn't that cool? So if you're looking to learn some Fusion after this little presentation, maybe you just check it out. Okay. Now, here's the other thing. It's very, very important. All right. Giveaways. We're going to be doing some giveaways. We have a ton of amazing stuff to give away. We have a color surface, we have camera, we have all kinds of hardware and software and plugins and amazing things from our sponsors. And you have a chance to win. All you have to do is make sure that you're registered. If you've RSVP'd for this event, then you're already registered. All right. If you're in doubt, you can go register again. You're not going to get duplicate emails or anything like that. We got systems, man. We can make that. We can figure that out. All right. But so if you're in doubt, make sure to go and register because then you will be entered to win giveaways after every single presentation here in the next 2 days. Pretty dang exciting. Okay. Now, speaking of the presentations, let's go through a run through of our schedule, shall we? Wow, I did not size this well, and I cannot read that. I forgot about that. But here's what we're going to do. I had this full screen yesterday, and can somebody come full screen this for me so I can actually read it? Just full screen just full screen the video part. There, yes. Thank you. Anyways, so we're going to start out with little old me. We're going to talk about Fusion, even if you're scared of Fusion. If you've been scared of the Fusion page, this is the perfect thing for you. Then we're going to get into top color page tips for editors with Darren Mostyn. Very exciting. And then Team 2 Films is going to be showing us some awesome YouTube content workflows. They are amazing at workflow. Every time I watch a Team 2 Films video, I learn so much. It's crazy. Frenchie Color, pro colorist, coming in and talking about her must-have color grading looks that bring her clients back. You don't want to miss that. And then we have Jason Yadlovsky, the audio master, talking about Fairlight audio mixing for beginners. So if you're wanting to make your audio a little better, that's the place to be. That's the place to be. So, guys, I am so thankful that you're here. One thing also that I want to mention is this event for free on YouTube is 2 days long. It's today and tomorrow. We're going to have a bunch of presentations each day, a bunch of giveaways. But the reality is that's only half of ResolveCon. The other half of ResolveCon happens. Okay, everybody good? All right. For some reason, my mic is being weird today, but it's okay. If you didn't hear, right now, this free thing, this 2 days of free ResolveCon is only half of ResolveCon. We also have a VIP section, all right? So if you get your VIP ticket, that unlocks 2 additional days of ResolveCon, all right? It's literally twice as much content, and it's a little bit more in depth, a little bit more advanced, and a little bit more interactive. And so you definitely don't want to miss it. You won't be able to get the replays of that anywhere else unless you have a VIP ticket. And you can only get a VIP ticket until they're gone. We only have a few left, so make sure to go and do that. All right? Okay, is there anything else I need to talk about? We feeling good? I feel like we're feeling good. I think we're good. So, it's my pleasure to be the person who is introducing all of the presenters today. And when we planned this out, I didn't think about how awkward it would be to introduce myself. So, without further ado, would you give it up for Casey Ferris? I'm going to go run over. Okay. Hello there. Fancy seeing you here. It's such a stupid way to do it. Hey, everybody. We are going to talk about Fusion here, but this is what I want you to do. I want you to take all of your thoughts about Fusion, about how Fusion is so intimidating, so scary, so overwhelming, and you're like, dude, anytime I see Fusion, I'm going to just go ahead and just skip over that page. I want you to take all of that and suspend it for just a minute. All right. Because if you're like me, when you open up Fusion, you look at the interface and you go, gosh, like when I first started using Fusion, when they first put Fusion into Resolve, I opened it up and I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It seems a little rough to learn. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to take you from somebody who is scared of Fusion, a little bit intimidated, a little bit overwhelmed, and I'm going to take you to being confident in Fusion in just like half an hour or so. Isn't that cool? Do you believe me? I believe me. Let's go over here, shall we? Yeah, let's head on over. Well, hey, we're not even going to start inside of Fusion. You know what? I'm going to turn off this light because it's making a big old shadow. There we go. We're not even going to start with Fusion. We're going to start with a dang pizza party. This is going to be so much fun that we have a pizza party. Isn't that exciting? So this is a pizza. Now, when you make a pizza, you're going to follow some kind of recipe, right? Like there's a certain amount of steps that you would go through to create a pizza like this. So if we're going to have a finished result like this, what we're going to have to do is figure out those steps. And what's cool is that this is kind of how we build things in Fusion. Really, we're just building a recipe for whatever graphics or visual effects or fancy things in Resolve that we want to make. So normally you would have like a list of ingredients and kind of a list of steps and everything. But instead, with Fusion, we have these things called nodes. All right. So what the heck is a node? Well, a node is this little rectangle, and it's on the Fusion interface, but I made a physical one. Isn't this cool? We 3D printed this. I think that's pretty dang neat. This really just represents doing one thing, one step. So all we have to do to actually make what we want to make is link together these steps. So let's kind of rewind here. Let's go back. Let's go back to the start, shall we? We're going to start with some crust. We're going to use this node called get crust. Now, this may look like a tortilla to the untrained eye. It's not. It's not. Gosh, I can't believe you'd make that. Okay, it's not a tortilla. This is a uncooked pizza crust. All right. Now, this uncooked pizza crust, all we've done is one step here. We've got the crust. We get it. We've taken this from the bag. I mean, it didn't come in a bag. We made it. We've taken this from the freezer where we had it prepared, and we put it down here. Okay. That's step one. Now, let's say we were going to make the most simple pizza ever in the history of mankind? Well, what would we do? We would take this, I mean, I guess we would just cook this crust. So maybe we could take this crust and then I'll use a little arrow here. We'll just put this into the oven. All right. And what does that make? I just realized, what the heck? I just realized that I don't have my cooked version of this. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. Pretend this is all cooked. Okay. There we go. Cooked. I tried so hard to be prepared. So there's our cooked pizza, or our cooked crust. All right. So this is like a pita or something. So this is a very, very simple recipe. We start with step one, get a crust, and then we travel along this yellow line and we go to the oven. Simple so far, right? Now, what if we wanted to mix things up a little bit? Let's rewind to our raw crust. We got some crust. What's the first ingredient to a pizza? What should we put on the crust first? Some sauce. Okay. So let's see. Well, we're going to get the crust. We're eventually going to put it in the oven. So we have that. Let's just gather all of our pieces here. Let's get some sauce. So here's a node that says get sauce. So we have 3 steps here. We get the crust, we get the sauce, and we get the oven. Okay. Okay. So let's link these up. I don't know. Let's just do something like this. We get the crust, we get the sauce, we put it in the oven. All right. Let's see what happens here. We have, okay. Yeah, we have some cooked crust and cooked sauce. Okay, so that's not quite right. That's not quite right. Something's wrong here. Okay, let's back up again. Let's back up. So we get our crust, we get our sauce. What do we actually want to do here? We got to think of this in steps. The thing is that when you're lining things out with nodes, you might think of it a certain way. You might go, okay, yeah, I get the crust and I get the sauce and put them together and put them in the oven, right? But the thing is, we didn't tell it to do that. All we did was think that and kind of put part of the nodes down. So, okay. Well, actually what we want to do is we want to put the sauce on top of this, don't we? So let's use a node. Maybe there's a node that, okay, here's a node. Here's a node called put on top. So we're going to put stuff on top of this crust. We get a crust and we put something on top of it. Whatever we're going to put on top of it, we're going to put into this green arrow just like this. What are we going to put? Oh, we're going to put the sauce on top. Okay, we're going to put the sauce on top of it. There we go. And we put it in the oven. And there we go. Very good. Very nice. That's not quite what we want either. Again, we didn't really specify. What we need to do is we need to open up that sauce. So how do we do that? Well, actually, I have a node here called can opener. So let's take the sauce and let's put it through a can opener. Let's do this. Let's use a can opener on that sauce. Here, let's back up. We have our crust, we have our sauce, and we have our can opener. Okay, so we get the sauce. We're just going to read this from now on. We get the sauce. We use a can opener on it. Okay, we use the can opener. And before somebody in chat's like, but you didn't tell it to go all the way around the edge and open the entire thing. Just go with it, man. Just go with it. Gosh, why are you even here if you're trolling? All right, so now we have some sauce. Okay, I'm going to try so hard not to make a huge mess. My kids and people that know me in real life know how much I hate messes. So you're all welcome for my personal sacrifice here. So we're gonna let's put this on a plate. I'd say let's put this on a plate. Okay, we're gonna take this sauce and we're gonna put this on. That's not gonna work either, is it? We want to spread out the sauce. So let's move this down a little bit, make a little bit of room. And let's maybe just start this like right over here. It'll be easier later. Foreshadowing. Okay, we got this can opener. We got the sauce. Let's spread it out. So here we're using a spread out node. So what this does is it takes things and it kind of spreads it out. That sounds perfect. Okay, so we're going to take this sauce and we're going to run this. We're going to do the can opener first, and then we're going to spread it out. Okay, I'm going to spread it out just like this. Okay, so we get the sauce, we get the can opener, we opened it, and then we spread it out. Okay, so we'll spread it out a little bit. Okay. All right. Hey, I think that almost looks like a pizza. Isn't that great? After only 16 minutes on stream, we've started to create part of a pizza. Amazing. All right, so now we have the building blocks for our pizza. Now, I'm going to grab this oven because I don't want that. I don't want that. I know what happens if I put that in the oven. That's not what I want. What I actually want is a delicious and tasty cheese pizza. That's what I really want. So we've already learned a little bit about how to do that. The first thing we should do is get some cheese. We should get some cheese. Here we go, block of cheese. Now, I know this looks a lot like butter. And this time it actually isn't. I'm not just memeing. It's really cheese, but I didn't think about how much it would look like butter on stream. It's cheese. Okay. It's mozzarella. No, it's not. That's a lie. It looks like mozzarella. No, it doesn't. Anyway, it's cheese. So here we are. We get some cheese, and let's put that on top too. Yeah, we know how to do this. So I ain't gonna get messed up this time. Not in my actual house. No thanks. We get some cheese. We put on top. All right. We put it in the oven. No, 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 no. Oh, come on. I failed to specify again. So here we are. Yeah, I mean, that's okay. Pretend I hooked this up to the oven. Okay, the illusion is not broken. It's fine. It's put in the oven. Okay, let's not do that. Let's take this back a notch. What should we do to the cheese? Okay, so here we changed it with this one, this can opener. So let's actually take this. I have a cheese grater node. Oh, that's going to be perfect. Okay, put this cheese into the cheese grater. And all I have to do is wipe this off. Oh, my whole nightmare. So terrible. Okay. All right. Remember when I was 37 years old and I wiped cheese on the internet? And that was my job. You guys hear Dan laughing across the street. All right. Yeah, he's ATS. Yeah. All right. We got a cheese. We got a cheese grater. Yeah. Now you're going to see that this isn't cheese and that I haven't been lying to you at all during any part of this. So now we grate this on. Okay. This is going to be great. ASMR stream, everybody. You want to hear that? Yeah, that's a good time. Yeah, you like that. All right. Creeping a bit. All right, so we're getting the cheese on our pizza. We're getting it everywhere, and I am fine. I'm totally fine. Dude, this butter grates just like cheese. It's amazing. All right, there's our cheese. It's great. In before somebody's like, oh, you should have used a spread it out node. Well, freaking calm down. Okay. There we go. There's our cheese for our pizza. Let's put it in the oven. Bam. Look at that. We did it. Guys, this is the recipe for cheese. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Make sure to like and... No, okay. I'll teach you more stuff. Okay, so this cheese pizza. We have a little recipe here for it. What if we got picky kids in the house? Not that that's ever happened to me. What if we got picky kids in the house and they're like, you know what? I actually just want cheese on half of it. I want to eat just bread and sauce on the other side. There are kids that do that. Doesn't make any sense to me either. Okay, so let's rewind. Let's take this out the oven. All right. Now, we're gonna try and put this cheese just on half of the pizza. How do we do that? Well, we do have this node laying around called half. Okay. And how this works is we can take a blue arrow. All right. This connects to things with a blue arrow. I'll show you why in a minute. This connects with a blue arrow, and anything that I connect it to, it's only going to do half of that. All right. It's basically like, please put out half effort. Please slack off. All right. So let's test this out and see how we can do this. Let's back up a little bit. Push back up. Okay, we have our sauce. We have our crust. I know what things are. We have our sauce. We have our cheese. If I do half of the cheese, then we can just, then we grate that, but it still go over the whole pizza. It still basically makes something like this. Okay. What if we only grate half of the cheese? Well, we already kind of did that, actually. It didn't really make a difference. Oh, what if we put it here and we only put it on half of the pizza? So, because think about it, what this is doing is this is telling all the other, any node that you connect it to only do its job on half of whatever it's doing. So you could get half the crust. That would be, you could do that, I guess. All right. But let's do, get the crust, get the sauce, can't open it, spread out, put it on top, get the cheese grater it, put it on top, but only on half. Let's see how this works. Bloop. All right. Oh, look at that glory. That's what I'm talking about. We got ourselves a half cheese pizza. Look at this for aesthetics. We'll just set this right here. So we have half of the cheese on the pizza because we told this cheese to only go on half the pizza right here. Okay. So give me one in chat if this is making sense so far. That's what I want to know. Because this is really everything that we've done making pizza. This is, I wouldn't say as complicated as Fusion gets, but it's like 80 or 90% of what you do in Fusion. All right. And all we've done is have a pizza party. Okay. Because I want to show you something really cool about this. Let's look at our nice, let's just keep this pizza. I like this pizza. Okay. I like this one. What we're doing here is we're lining out this recipe step by step with nodes, and we're connecting them to each other in a certain order. The nodes that we connect to which other nodes, that really matters. If I were to get sauce and then get cheese, things would be really weird, right? We already went down that rabbit hole. If I were to take one of these can openers out, that wouldn't work either. I could do this, and that'd be kind of fun. We could roll our sauce around on the pizza. I don't know about that. But it matters which nodes we connect each other to. And the thing is, even though this looks a little bit complicated, we kind of built this step by step, and we were just thinking about it, right? And that's what I really want to get you to do, is start to think about, okay, if I connect this node to this node, what happens? And you can start as simple as get a crust and put it in the oven, all right? Now, here's what's really, really cool about this. I've only shown you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 nodes. And they're not even named the exact same things as the nodes are in Fusion, but you have learned how to use almost every node in Fusion just now. You're like, that's preposterous. There's no possible way. I don't know why you talk in that voice, but you do. Let me show you. If we were to start to categorize these nodes, what we have are just a few different kinds. So we started with our ingredients. So we have, that's not a can, oh no, that's crazy. All right. We start with the sauce and the cheese and the crust. So those are like our raw ingredients. We're not doing, we don't need to prepare them or anything. They're kind of just like our starting point, right? And so this is a raw ingredient right here. I'm just gonna color this in bright yellow. Okay. This is what we would call our ingredient, which in Fusion is like an image. Now, when I say image, I mean anything that's visual. It can be an actual image like a PNG or a JPEG, or it can be a movie clip, something like that. It could be animation, a piece of media generally. Because those are kind of the raw starting points. You know, if you're going to open up a shot and put an explosion in it, you would need the shot and the explosion, most likely. So we have get crust, get sauce, get cheese. Cool. Okay, so that's one kind of node. Do we have anything else that's like that? Nope, I don't think so. Next, we have these nodes here that change the raw ingredients here. So we get the sauce, and then we change the sauce with the can opener, right? We have that open can, and then we change it by spreading it out. We're not making a new thing. We're just changing the thing that exists. Same thing with a cheese grater. We can't put a cheese grater on a pizza or something like that. Doesn't work. We have to put cheese through it, right? So these nodes, these are what we call effect nodes. And prepping for this, I was going to say we're going to call them effect nodes because they affect things, but it's actually a different spelling and it's kind of awkward. But you can still remember it that way. Get can opener, spread it out. This affects things. This affects things. This cheese grater. All right. What else? What else does that? Well, actually, the oven does. Because we take the pizza and we put it through the oven and it changes what the pizza is like. So, okay, an oven is kind of like an effect too. Next time you use the microwave, you can tell your significant other, I'm using the microwave effect. And they'll be like, what? I'm like, yeah, I watched Casey Ferris. And they're like, you need to stop. You need to stop that. Okay, so we have two different kinds of nodes so far. We have the raw ingredients, the images, right? And then we have the things that change those raw ingredients, the effects. Okay. Let's explore these put on top nodes. These are interesting. These aren't really like any of the other nodes. For one reason, they have two arrows going into them. Why would they have that? Well, if this one job of this node is to put something over something else, well, you need that something, and then you need the something else, right? Well, I guess it'd be that way, the way I said it. The something is going to be the yellow arrow. That's going to be the, well, actually, the something on the bottom is going to be the yellow arrow. The something on the top is going to be the green arrow. So it takes two arrows, and it puts one thing on top of another. Do any of these other things do that? I don't think so. So these are kind of a unique node. These are what we call a merge node, because it merges something with something else. All right. What it does is it takes an image. It takes an image or a changed image, right? This would be an image. This would be a raw ingredient. And this would be a raw ingredient that went through a couple things, went through some hard times in life, and then it was put on top of this other one. So that's what these do. They put ingredients on top of each other. So that's three different kinds of nodes. Okay. Then we have our fourth kind of node, which I bet you can't guess which one. This one, this half. This is a special node that all it does is it tells other nodes what to do. It says, okay, you get the cheese. How about you get half the cheese? All right, you get the cheese grater. How about you only grate half that cheese? How about you only put half the cheese on top? How about you only cook half of the pizza? How about you only open half the can, which would be pretty useless. This, what we call infusion, is a mask. This is a mask because it covers up kind of part of what the node is doing, right? So this would be a mask right here that selects this part and puts cheese on it. Okay, so now we have four different kinds of nodes. We have the ingredients. Okay, these would be called images. The effects, which are called effects. The put on top nodes, which are merges. And then the mask. And what's magical about this, there are over 370 nodes in Fusion. All right, and if you hear that and you're like, dude, ain't nobody got time for that. I'm not learning that. No thanks. I'm going to stick to other software. Man, there's only four different kinds of nodes. Okay. What was that? You want me to show you in Fusion? Okay. Let's do it. Shabam. Now I'm over here in the normal view. Okay. Let's talk about this here. Now, I have some work files. Actually, if you want to download them, you can follow along, but you can download them later. No big deal. There should be links to that in the chat or down somewhere. And wait. What's happening here? There we go. And we have a few different images that we're giving you, and these are different pieces of the pizza. Okay, so all I did was I made a new Resolve project, and yeah, just drag these over into the media pool. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you with the Fusion thing. But then I'm going to right click here in the media pool in the edit page and go down and say new Fusion composition, just like this. And I'll say create, and then double click on this Fusion composition like this. All right. So now there might still be a little bit of like, I don't know what's going on, but at least you're like, okay, I kind of understand sort of what we're trying to do with nodes. So let me give you just a little bit of interface here. So down here are the nodes. This is where we're going to be working with. This is just like our workspace over here. Okay. And up here are the viewers. This is where you can view what's going on. And up here, this is the media pool. This works just like the edit page where we have all of our media. And then right here, we have our toolbar. We'll get to that in just a second. To start out with, we're going to take this crust. We're going to drag this down like this. We can name this. Let's hit F2 and name this. We'll call this get_crust. And I'm going to say _mi. So we remember this is actually called a media in node. When you take a media from the media pool and you drag it in, what that does is it loads it into the Fusion page. All right. So this is basically like a get crust node, pretty much the same thing. All right. So we get crust, and then let's take the output of this and let's connect this with the yellow arrow, boop, over to media out. Now, what the heck is media out? Media out is what you connect everything to that you want to see. All right. So if you're going to make a Fusion composition here in the media pool, you can drag this down to a timeline, and whatever you connect to that media out is going to be what shows in the timeline. Right? If it isn't connected to the media out, you're not going to see it. Okay. All right. So now we have our crust. So far, so good. Let's take some sauce and put it over. Again, I'm just going to grab this sauce and drag it in. Rename this get sauce. Sauce. Am I? And now we're going to be in our same problem where we have our sauce and our crust, but they're not together. Now, I did you a little bit of a favor, and I got the sauce out of the can and I spread it out for you. All right, so we don't have to do as much work, but we still need to put this sauce on top of this. How do we do that? Well, over here we used a put on top node, which we have a node like this in Fusion called merge. That lives right here on this toolbar. This toolbar is interesting because we're used to, like on the edit page, where you click one of these tools and it kind of changes how your cursor works. In the Fusion page, what it does is it actually is just a shortcut to grab a node and drag it down. It's almost like stuff is on the shelf and you drag it off the shelf into your work area, okay? Which is kind of like cooking, actually. Anyways, so let's take a merge, and then we're going to hook up this merge like this. So to get rid of this line, all I have to do is click on it once, and then I'm going to plug the output into that yellow input. And look, there's the yellow and the green. See what we did there? Take the output of this and put this into the media out. Okay. This little gray square, this is the output. We'll plug this into the green input. There we go. We got sauced bread, baby. We got sauced bread. All right. Now we're kind of in that same predicament where I don't just want bread and sauce because I'm not some freak like some people we know. Let's take some cheese, and I'm going to rename this get cheese _mi. There we go. And let's do this a little bit faster this time. Let's take a merge node, and I'm just going to drag this and drop it on this line when it turns yellow and blue. There we go. I'll take the output of this and plug this into the green. Yes, cheese on the pizza. Cheese on the pizza, baby. Let's do this. Now, we have a cheese pizza. That's great. What if we wanted to go even crazier? What if we wanted to add some pepperoni? We didn't even do this in real life, but hey, we could do it digitally. No problem. Okay, get pep. That's what I'm talking about. Take this, and this time we're going to do this a little even faster than we did. One thing is, when I started with Fusion, one of the main things, one of the reasons that I didn't really want to use Fusion is because it took so long to put something over something else. I was used to working with layers, where you'd have like a stack of layers here, and it was like, all right, to add a new layer, you just drag it on top. All right, and I was like, dude, really? Every single time I need to add something on top of something else, I need to undo this, grab a merge, grab this, and then connect this and connect this. That's like 5 steps to do something so simple, so simple. If you're hearing me on that, one on chat, okay? One in chat if that's you. Here's what you can do though. All you have to do is drag this down, and then you take the output of this, and you just put this on the little output square right here, and then boom. It makes that merge, connects it to the foreground, and it's pretty fast. When you get used to it, it's just like boom, boom, no problem. So now we have a pepperoni pizza. But something is wrong. I don't know if I like the cheese placement. Cheese placement. So I think what we want to do is, let's make this cheese a little bit smaller. I'm actually going to take this cheese and I'm going to drag it up here into this viewer. That's how you can view things in different viewers. You can actually view any node in either viewer, just like this. What I like to do is take this media out and always put this on the right viewer, because it's kind of like the edit page, where when you have 2 viewers, this is your timeline viewer and this is your source. Kind of the same idea, but we have pieces and then the final, right? Okay, so this cheese, I feel like it's too big for the crust. Like it's kind of like hanging over a little bit. So what can we do? Well, we could size it. We could change the size of it. So let's use a node. That's this node right here called a transform. A transform moves, scales, and rotates things. Okay, let's take this and drag that down in between this. We're putting this after the cheese because we want to affect the cheese. So we're going to put the cheese through this effect, right? So let's take this transform. I'm going to make sure that I view the transform here so we see what's going on. I'm going to take the size and I'll push the size down. Oh, look at sizing it. I could even rotate it. I could do all kinds of cheesy things with this. Okay. Now we have the cheese placement optimized. We have optimized cheese placement. Okay. Great. This is wonderful. So now we have this pizza that, if we were to put this in the oven, might look something like this. Nice cooked pizza, right? And we just made that in Fusion. Isn't that cool? Okay, I want to show you a couple more little things. What's amazing about Fusion is that any of these nodes, at any point, you can add other nodes, you can change things, you can mess around, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff with this. And it's always laid out here where you can see all of the little pieces. You can see the entire ingredient list, the entire instructions all at once. You don't have to go through and like twirl down layers or do anything like that. There aren't things that are comped inside of other comps, and everything. It's just all laid out. That's the part I really like. And so what's great is I can pick any part of this, like the sauce, and I can change the sauce. Let's do something crazy. Let's grab a color corrector node, this one right here. Take this right here, like this, color corrector. And what we're going to do is we're going to change the hue of this color corrector. So let's move this around. We'll change the hue, and I'm going to make this purple. Yeah, kind of this old purple. Now we have this purple purple sauce. Let's get crazy with the cheese too. Take this cheese. We're going to do kind of the same thing. Just drag in a color corrector. Let's change that hue. Let's make green cheese. Ew. Maybe take the saturation down. Maybe take the gamma down. We'll have nice green cheese. Doesn't that look good? Doesn't it look so good? When I was in school, we had a day that was like for nonviolence or whatever. For whatever reason, they called this program Purple Hands. All right. I don't know if you guys had that, or if that was just like where I went to school, or if that was a nationwide thing or something. But it was Purple Hands. Hands are not for hurting, right? I don't know why. But they had this day to celebrate it, and it was Purple Food Day. And No kids ate it. No kids ate it. We had purple hamburgers and hot dogs and purple pizza, and it was awful. It was so bad. The kids were hungry all day. So, yeah. So anyway, we don't really want to do this, but now this is kind of a Nickelodeon pizza. And what's crazy is you can do all different kinds of things to this pizza. You could put some color curves on it maybe, and we'll kind of cook this pizza a little bit. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff. But you have this freedom to do this inside of Fusion, and it's pretty darn cool. Okay, one last thing that I want to do here is I want to show you masking, okay? Because in our example over here, we had a half cheese. We had some half cheese, okay? How do we do that? Well, we find our cheese, and remember this merge node, what this does, its job is to put the, okay, I gotta get rid of the colors. It's gross. The merge's job is to put that cheese over everything else. If I turn off this merge, this is one thing you can do, is you can turn off a node to see exactly what it's doing. So this node is putting cheese on top of the sauce. So let's only do that on half of the pizza. Let's take a mask from this section right here, and we'll just pick the one we want. How about this rectangle mask like this? Take this rectangle and I'm going to select it. And that's going to give me a little overlay. I don't know if you can see on the recording, but there's a little overlay here. And I'm just going to select half the pizza. Kind of just put this on half of the screen. Now we can take this and we can apply it to anything that we want to only do half of. So let's take this and plug it into the blue. And now we have half cheese on our pizza. Isn't that cool? So cool. So cool. We can just put half sauce on there. We could even connect this to multiple things. Half the sauce, half the cheese, half the pepperoni when we actually look at the pepperoni. And we can actually connect a node to multiple things. So you can reuse the same mask on multiple nodes. It's freaking crazy. It's so good. Okay. One last thing I want to say. This is the thing I was thinking of, what else would really, really help. The biggest thing I would say is that when we're learning about these nodes and you go, okay, I have images and I have merges and I have effects. What I see a lot is somebody's like, okay, I get my cheese. And let's say I want to blur it for whatever reason. Okay, I want to kind of melt the cheese. Let's say I want to blur this cheese. And so they go, okay, I'm going to put a blur on this cheese. Because you're used to saying that, right? Like if you're in the edit page and you have this cheese, right? You would go over to your effects and you would say, I'm going to drop a blur on top of this cheese and it's going to make it blurry. In Fusion, I would recommend not saying stuff like that. I would say that I'm going to run the cheese through a blur, because here's what happens when you think about putting an effect on something. It makes you think that you want to use a merge, because a merge puts something on something else. So you take this merge, you're like, all right, I get my cheese and I'm going to put my blur on it. So here's a blur. I'm going to put the blur on the cheese. Let's look at this. And I put up my blur size and nothing happens. Oh, I can't remember when to use a merge and when to not. I feel like it's random. I don't know why they've done this. Here's the thing. The only time you use a merge is when you have an image and you're putting it over another image. All right. So that's what's happening here. We have an image over another image, right? And it's being changed. But if I don't have an effect, if I don't have this going through an effect, or if I don't have an image going through my effect, it doesn't do anything. An effect always needs an image. Let me show you this real practically, and then we'll get to Q&A. If I were to have my pizza here, and let's just make it this way. If I were to have my pizza, and I said, okay, now I want to run it through the oven. If I want to say, okay, I want to put an oven effect on this. So I think, okay, put on top. Great, here's put on top. And there we go. And here's my oven. What am I actually doing here? I'm putting an oven on top of my pizza, which is not what I want at all. We're not going to have a cooked pizza. In fact, I don't know. Here it is. Yeah, we're going to have a mess instead of a cooked pizza. So that's why we always run an image through an effect. We don't put an effect on top of an image. We only use merges where we are putting an image over one another. But that's the thing. These basics, I promise you, just taking these basics, this is going to take you to somebody who is confident in Fusion, because now you can open it up and at least you can make a pizza. And really, I promise you, every single composition is some combination of images, effects, merges, and masks. And that, I think, is a lot less scary. What you guys think? That was good, right? What'd you think of that? I feel like it's good. Do you like the little wrap-up thing, the little end? That was a good line to end on. Hey, thanks, Catherine. I appreciate that. Thanks, Frenchie. We're going to do Q&A here in a minute. I'm stalling. But no one will know. 10 cool points for not putting on pineapple. I thought about making that joke, but I just didn't. Yeah.
Listen, pineapple's fine.
I can't hear record. You. Is it on mute?
Nope.
It's muted, yo.
It's not muted. It's not muted.
Can you guys hear him?
The microphone is on and we are getting...
You can hear Dan. Oh, well, I'm an idiot. Never mind. Go back. You're fine.
Goodness.
I didn't set my speaker right because I have
Hey, everyone.
Hi.
For the record, pineapple on pizza is fine.
I agree.
You can do that or not. The choice is yours, and either way is fine. Do you like
totally
it?
Agree.
That's the correct answer. Anyways, we do have a couple of questions here from chat. First one is actually from Team 2 Films.
Oh, I love them.
Does Casey prefer thin crust or deep dish?
Ooh, I think I like deep dish, actually. Thin crust is, I don't know, you gotta have the bread. I actually like stuffed crust pizza. It's like somehow more bread. That's what I want.
Matt Lee asks, can the same thing be done with a multi-merge instead of multiple merge nodes? Can we see that in action?
Absolutely. Yeah, let me show you. Yeah, we'll need to go back to my thing here. Oh boy, could somebody close my door? It's like really getting to me. Sorry. Okay. So yes, there is something called a multi-merge, and this is a heated debate. I don't know if it's a heated debate. I might be the only one who cares. It's very possible. Okay, but a multi-merge, the idea is here, so normally when you have a merge node, you only have a background and a foreground, okay? But a multi-merge, you have a background and you can have as many foregrounds as you want. All right, so if I were to make this pizza, I could do, let's just look at this. I could have this multi-merge here, and I could put the sauce on, and then I could put the cheese on, and then I could put the pepperonis on, right? And I'd have a pizza. And now you might be saying, oh, well, dang, that's way easier. Why the heck do we making all these merges? Here's why. Without looking at this, let's just look at this here. There we go. Which node is in the foreground? Which node's on top of which one? How can you tell? You can tell if you select the multi-merge and you go here and you look at the layers, right? But here's what's interesting. If I take these layers and I move them around, okay? Now we have these out of sync, but it looks the same here. This seems really confusing. And if I'm doing 90% of my work in nodes, trying to figure out, the exact like recipe, and I can kind of go down all of the different steps and follow it, read it like that, then what this does is it makes a hiccup there of like, okay, well, which one's in the foreground? I don't know. And so I tend not to use these because you can't tell what's going on just by looking at the nodes, which is like 50% of the benefit of using nodes. So yes, you can do it with the multi-merge, but I would recommend that you just use the merges because it's not that hard to switch to use the merges. And if you're going to do something like switch the order, look at this. I can hold shift, drag this down like that. And now it goes this one, this one, this one, this one. And I can tell because it goes from left to right, right? This is 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when I look here, it's crust, sauce, pepperoni, cheese. We don't even see the pepperoni because it's behind the cheese. I can take this and put this back. There we go. Oops. There we go. Right? So anyway, that's my short answer on that.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Guys, give it up for Casey. That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Hey, you're welcome.
Awesome. Well, we're going to let you go, and we're going to get into our giveaway winners, you guys. We are giving away single presentation today during ResolveCon. So make sure you are registered for that. There are links in the description for that. You cannot win anything unless you are registered. So make sure you do that. Again, link is in the description to do that. Also, 2 extra days of ResolveCon happening, not live, but in a private stream with exclusive education opportunities for you guys. Make sure you get the VIP ticket. Links in the description. We got a few slots left. You don't want to miss this incredible opportunity to hang out with the presenters, ask questions directly, get some really cool experiences with some of our wonderful educators this weekend. And if you're looking for more, please visit groundcontrol.film to get 25% off of all of our courses. You guys use coupon code RC25GC at checkout, and any of our courses for this weekend only will be 25% off. It's a smoking deal. You're not going to want to miss it. So we're going to take a quick break before we get into our next presentation from the wonderful Darren Mostyn. He's going to be talking about just the best color page tips for editors. You're not going to want to miss it. We're going to take a quick break. You guys go get a snack, go use the bathroom, and make sure you get your VIP tickets. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll see you back here shortly. Bye-bye. Oh, yeah, we got to give away stuff. Oh, dang, shoot, almost let them go for that. Hey, congratulations to David. You've won a editor collection from Whip Templates. Congratulations to Ralph. You've won $100 in Motion VFX in-store credit. And Jimmy Nolan won a copy of Resolve Studio. Congratulations, you guys. We'll be back here in a little bit. Stay tuned. Bye.